What did the weird kid in your school do that you'll never forget? He wrote in my yearbook, when I was 6 years old, I went into a cornfield. I didn't realize it was a maze. I was stuck for several days without food or water. When they found me, the doctors said I'd never be the same. Good luck in college. The albino kid in school. He would take off running down the hallway with one hand straight out in front of him and yell, "White lightning." He was weird but everyone liked him. Poured his juice on the table at lunch and suction cupped his mouth over it and inhaled it all like a Hoover when you put it directly onto a hard floor. He's a lawyer now. I am not sure if he done this with anyone else, but he drew a picture of SpongeBob and Charizard brutally killing me and my friend and then willingly showed it to us. I couldn't help but laugh, but it was actually very well drawn. I liked that kid. Andrew Hooker made an album of electronica called Hook Anthems, and each one was a soundtrack for different mundane tasks of his life. He sold only one copy to a maths teacher, and it's also one of my life regrets that I didn't buy one too. She barked at people and tried to scratch behind her ears with her foot. AMD sniffed people's butts at recess. She was 14. Kidnapped a kindergarten from the bus stop and brought her to school claiming it was her daughter. A few days before a pep assembly, anonymously posted signs all over school that said, "The cock is coming." Teachers and school administrators were obviously concerned but clueless. Smuggled a live rooster into the assembly and partway through the opening speech at the assembly, whipped it out over his head as it went apeshit. Entire gym full of kids stood up and started chanting, "Cock. Cock. Cock." Was not seen at school for a few days after that. So, there was a guy at our school when I was a freshman that everyone called Wolfman, who was weird in all the bad ways. He claimed to have superpowers, teleportation, DBZ like energy creation and whatnot. All the girls said he would just stare at them if they had class with him. He hung around us freshmen and did his best to flirt with the girls. For an example of his flirting, he once told a girl that while astral projecting, he saw her face on Jupiter. Needless to say, girls stayed away from him. He graduated though, and his brother started at the school. Now, Wolfman wasn't a tall guy by any stretch of the imagination, maybe 5 feet at most, but his brother was a good foot shorter than him. He looked like he belonged in 3rd grade. He never got any taller. It didn't help that he always wore a child's Goosebumps jacket, that made people start calling him Goosebumps. He was even more convinced of his powers than his brother, but at least he was less sexually creepy, but that's all he had going for him. One memorable day I was in math class, and he started shaking violently. People ignored him, so he started flapping his arms around. Wondering if this was an actual seizure, the girl next to him put her hand on him and asked if he's okay. He growled back, "Take your hand off me, this power is too much to contain." She started yelling at him for faking a seizure and he went back to normal death stare forward grumbling about his powers. Robbed a gas station dressed as a ninja, armed with a katana. Stole cash from the register, all the cigarettes he could carry, and a bunch of lottery tickets. He then fled across state lines with a 17-year-old girl. He was 19. Not a great result for him. I remember once in high school we were on a school camp which included some low-level spelunking. About 60 of us had to squeeze single file on our hands and knees through a narrow part of the cave which was about 100 meters long. There was a small section about halfway along which opened up a bit to allow 2 people to sit shoulder to shoulder. Anyway, weird kid got to this section and decided he really needed to poop. Not sure what he had been eating, but it was a runny one. He was at the front of the column, so we all had the pleasure of crawling through the mess he made, because we'd come too far to turn back. Combine that with poor lighting and poor ventilation and we had a real mess on our hands. Ran around the hallways making pterodactyl noises with his arms raised up behind him like he was swimming butterfly. Ate a sheep eye we were supposed to dissect in science class. Man oh man. He would get almost fully naked to pee in the urinal. Put a pig fetus head on the English teacher's car antenna. There was this huge guy, tall and wide, in our classes. To support his impressive body, he ate a lot. He'd bring an entire roll of cookies, like 20 plus, and stack them on one side of his desk. Then he would take one bite out of cookie number 1, and put it to the other side of his desk. Then he would take one bite out of the next cookie and place that one on top on cookie number 1. He'd go through the whole stack, until all cookies were partially eaten and in a neat stack on the other side of his desk. Then he would do it again, take one bite of the top cookie and place that in the original side of the desk, bite the next cookie, etc. After maybe 15 minutes of biting and stacking, the whole lot was gone. Now we weren't even supposed to eat in class, but he always got away with it somehow. This girl decided she wanted to be pregnant. She proceeded to ask probably half the people in our high school if they would impregnate her, and then when that didn't work she brought a Ziploc bag and asked for guys to jizz in it. Everyone called her sperm bank after that, and I honestly can't remember her real name. Ended up in a mental institution because his parents bought him a new mattress, and while removing the old one they found multiple mason jars full of blood, no exaggeration, 2 gallons total. There was a police investigation and turn out it was all his blood. His only answer as to why was, just in case. I'm from a small town. There was this weird kid who was a year older, but he was so weird that even the younger kids would pick on him. I didn't really know him, but I put him in the weird but harmless category. He graduates, and then decides to rob the local taco time with a shotgun. Well, it is a small town. The kids working at the taco time all know him, and pretty much everybody in the taco time also knows him. He got 2 years. 7th grade, guy didn't have a pencil for the test and the teacher wouldn't give him one. You need to be prepared, blah. Yeah, the dude took out a paperclip, straightened it out, stabbed himself, and started doing the test using his blood as ink. He was quickly sent to the nurse's office. Edit. Whoa, thanks for the love everyone. It was kinda a sad situation. The teacher shouldn't have done that, and I think the student was picked on a lot and not very stable in the first place. Was in the band during some downtime. Some guy kicks off his shoes and socks and bites the ends of his toenails off. Most of the class, casually, migrated towards the other side of the room. Apparently he put a teaspoon up his ass in assembly. Pulled down his pants in the middle of a public bathroom and span in a circle while spraying piss everywhere and shouting, around the WOOORRRLLLD. After one of my female friends rejected his advances he proceeded to jump off of his roof, twice, and broke both of his arms. Second thing, he made a wooden weed pipe in wood shop and then tried to smoke out of it in class. Another weird kid, who I might mention probably had a cognitive disability, so I don't want to be mean, hid under a bridge in town and drank multiple bottles of Pepto-Bismol, and then went to school acting like he was drunk. He attempted to get people to drink some with him, and then went back to the bridge and tried to light stuff on fire until the police arrived. Another one, a true Looney Tune of a guy, shortly after high school was caught with a large amount of guns in his trunk, rifles, pistols and all that, and went to jail over a multitude of crimes. Don't even think he was in a gang, just pure insanity drove him to do insane things. Could vomit on demand. Ate styrofoam, and then, visibly, lied about, denied it when someone pointed it out. Bits of styrofoam came out of his mouth. Humped my desk for a solid minute while maintaining eye contact with me, and then said, thanks, and just walked away. I'm a guy, this was 15 years ago, on my first day at this new school, and I was just eating lunch at my desk, and this dude just walked up and went to town. No context, no introduction, nothing. Didn't even buy me dinner first. Just wham, bam, thank you desk.